Welcome in to the Sky Sports studios in West London and to Toyota Goal Zone with me, Jon Champion, alongside me, Lee Dixon and Graeme Le Saux. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed that Spurs game.
Oh, it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Cheshire Cat. But it's been a great weekend for Arsenal, and we will, of course, come on to that. But it's another game. It almost followed the pattern of Chelsea against West Ham yesterday.
It was very similar, wasn't it, in the sense that first half, Tottenham were an absolute disaster in their setup. I hadn't realised that I'd actually seen into the future and predicted the Tottenham shape, but only for the second half of the game, not for the first half of the game. But it made such a difference because it put them much more in a position to engage with the Man City players. We were crying out for them to get closer, to be less passive. And just by changing the shape, I think it clarified in the players' minds who the player was that they were marking, what their relationship was with their partner. And they just were much more aggressive, much more on the front foot, and really took the game to City in the second half. It was a brilliant second half.
I think Pep will be furious based on the half-time. Obviously, Thomas Frank will have said some harsh words, I'm pretty sure of that. And he changed the system. Yes. But ultimately, Man City were in so much control in that first half. For them not to maybe get 3 or 4 in that first... We were thinking about, if this goes to 5 or 6, Thomas Frank could be in a bit of trouble here at the end of the game. But to be fair to him, they changed it. And what was interesting, how the players, as Graeme said, just felt more comfortable in a position where sometimes on a pitch, when you're a little bit too far away, you go, I don't want to go in there. And that was the case in the first start. I don't want to go, so I won't go anywhere. And then they just ran round you. But they were closer, so you think, do you know what? I'm going and my mate's going. All of a sudden, the system seemed to work, and that enthusiasm to close the ball down just upset City a little bit.
I'd suggest to you that maybe the Tottenham team has had a better day than the Tottenham fans, half of whom went home at half-time and gave up on the side.
Yeah. Well, there was every reason to go home in as much as it was the worst I've seen for a long time from a home team that couldn't get anywhere. And City are a good side, and they can do that to teams. But you've got to be a bit stronger than that and go, do you know what? Forget the tactics. Let's just get close to the man I'm marking.
It's also, I think... we're talking about a transitional period for Tottenham, and we live in a world where you don't have time. You've got to be instant impact, and if you don't, if you're Tottenham and you lose 4 games out of 6, you're in trouble. You're going to get sacked. Who do you replace? Who do you give the chance to actually get the players to understand a different play? And you can see just by that game, that's a great example of where Tottenham are. One system in the first half that Thomas Frank was maybe thinking was going to work. The players clearly didn't. You change it, you get a really good performance out of him. So now he's got to be the one that says, you know what, I've got to go with what I've seen in that second half, set the team up, give them confidence that you're going to play through some sort of inconsistency to get out the other side. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going around in circles as a Tottenham fan.
I have to say, I think they were a little bit lucky to get back in the game. We'll see it in the highlights. The Solanke first goal, I think, should have been, I agree with Steve, it should have been a foul, but there's not one Arsenal fan in England that would have given that free kick.
And, of course, it set him up in a position where he scores a scorpion kick. I mean, it was Giroud, New Year's Day 2017, all over again.
Against Palace.
Yes.
Well, that's the only bit I remembered.
But, I mean, that's going to go... That'll be a contender for goal of the season.
Oh, yeah, certainly will, yeah. And totally intuitive instinct. You can't practice that in training. No. It's just the awareness of where the ball is, where you are, where the goal is, and being able to execute. Obviously, you and I could never have done that in a million years, let alone John.
I could.
You could?
Yeah. You could?
Yeah, I've done that a few times in training. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
I was going to say, is your memory going? Right, let's open up the debate a little more by bringing in Joe Spate and Stephen Warnock, who called the game so excellently for us in North London. Stephen, I thought you made a very good point that you couldn't say that the players weren't playing for Thomas Frank, particularly in that second half. But I just wonder, on a broader point, we discussed what the atmosphere was like, the feel ahead of the game, and Joe described that very eloquently. At half-time, it was clearly mutinous. By the end, how would you assess it?
Still somewhat subdued, I would say. There wasn't a huge amount of enthusiasm for the Spurs players and for Thomas Frank, but we were just discussing here that he's a manager who is obviously a good coach. We've seen that from his body of work previously at Brentford, but he needs time to instill both his philosophy and also get the squad he wants here.
Oh, 100%. I think when you look at the squad and what they've done over recent years, and the term is used, Spursy, I think he's got to change that mentality within the changing room. I think he's got to get out some of the players that have played today, some that are in the squad. That takes time. Things aren't going to change over the night, and Graeme said it there. You look at this squad, and who are you going to bring in? How are you going to change it? They're going to have the same problems when they walk in. So this isn't a short-term fix. This has got to be changed over a 2-3 year period. But everything's wanted accelerated in life. Everyone wants success straight away. You're not going to get that at this football club, and it's going to take time and a little bit of patience.
Well, they have 24 hours to go in the transfer window, so we'll see if something happens over that time. But for City, we asked about their consistency. Can they be a winning machine again? Seeing that second half, you wonder.
Oh, no, you certainly do. I mean, that first half performance, unbelievable. So comfortable, so confident, but a poor Spurs team. Then a team that comes out with a little bit of fight, and they weren't up for the fight, Manchester City. I agree with Lee, though. 100% they get back into the game, Spurs, from a disallowed or a goal that should have been disallowed. However, that mentality from Manchester City had to be better, and it could have cost them today the league title.
Yes, an element of controversy here. Graham, back to you. I understand you have a question coming up for us. We're eagerly poised.
Yeah, obviously, when you're at the game and you see the whole picture, I think my question to Stephen is really, when you look at City in that second half, contrasting it to the first half, what do you think the main thing is, Stephen, that's causing the problem for City to lose that quality that they had in the first half and be so different in that second half of the game?
I think it's complacency. I think the game was just so easy for them that they thought we can come out at a canter. And you know what it's like, Graham. You cannot go from sort of fifth gear, drop it back down to second and take it back up. They were in cruise control. Well, they couldn't come out in cruise control in the second half with the tempo that Spurs started at. So I think complacency's caught them out, and credit to Spurs, they got back into it. But that mentality of that we've seen so often from Manchester City simply wasn't there today to get the result they needed.
OK. Good news for the two of you in North London. That was actually a test event for Graham to see whether we're going to permit him to ask questions on a regular basis. The answer off the back of that is we're not. So he's done, you're done, go home, and thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Excellent entertainment, as ever.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.